Professor, I mean, you've dedicated your life to saving children. How did you feel when you were accused of killing a child?
It's pretty unique, you know. And as I wrote to one of the chaps who sort of wished me well afterwards, that this was the first time I'd been accused of murdering a child, you know, and so it's not often that this happens. But I was pleased to see that the charge was false, you know, it's just unbelievable how they can put these sort of things, but they did.
Did it feel a bit like sort of you were in a nightmare that was never going to end? I mean, it must have felt like you were in a movie or something.
I suppose in a way. I mean, you know, one wasn't concerned about it because obviously the whole thing was rubbish. You know, one knew that. But, you know, how long it would take to sort itself out was very difficult to know. And as I said, it was sort of going up and down. One day things looked as if they would finish pretty soon, and the next day it went bad again and it wasn't going to be finished. So, you know, it was just upping and downing all the time.
What was the worst part of the whole 9 months that you were there?
I don't think there was any particularly worst part, but it's just when when you had bad news. I mean, when you go to court and they're going to argue and appeal, and then there's no one there, and they cancel the meeting. You know, it's just upsetting. I don't know if that was the worst, but I mean, there were several bad moments, put it that way, that sort of thing. Like, you know, when they couldn't find me on the computer to give me my exit visa on what was it, on Wednesday. It was a bad moment as well, you know. Drove me to drink at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
What did you miss most about being away from home?
I think being free, you know, you sort of, I mean, I was very happy to be staying with a colleague and with a friend and so on, but there's nothing to do. You couldn't go anywhere particularly. You go for a bit of a walk, and, you know, you're dependent on anybody for anything else. You know, if you want to go for a restaurant or go for the drive, well, you didn't go for the drive, but to go and visit something, you just there's nothing you can do of your own initiative.
And sitting in jail for that time, what was that like?
Not as unpleasant as I expected. You know, I mean, I'm not hell of experienced at sitting in jails, but I did sit in 3 different jails over there, and I think of the 3, I mean, I think Abu Dhabi airport was probably the worst because it's not really a proper jail. It was just a little hockey with a metal bench to sleep on. The others were not too bad. I mean, you had fairly good, you know, interesting people to chat to, and you know, it was okay. I mean, not complaining too much.
If you've learned anything from this whole experience, if anything at all, what would that be?
Well, I think it's difficult to say. You know that you know, I don't know. I don't want to sort of say too much about where I've been and so on, but it's there are problems for people that you know can get into trouble the way I did, and I don't know. I don't think there's any particular experience, but it's just hell of a nice to be over with. That's all.
What are you going to do now? I mean, once you got home and this weekend, what are the first things that you wanted to be able to do?
No, just walk around in the garden and go for a drive somewhere, you know, get closer to Table Mountain, you know, see this. Just do things. I mean, I just wasn't able to do anything over there. That, as I said, I was dependent on other people all the time.
Mrs. Karabus, what is the impact that this has had on you and your family? It's been such a roller coaster.
I would think that the most of it is all 5 of my children are not in the same place. So, you know, if I told one, I had to tell the other who told the other. It was like that telephone thing, but the family definitely became fractured over it because our tempers were very, very on the edge all the time, and you had to. I'm not used to not saying what I want to say, but I had to be careful, otherwise Sarah would shout at me. and all the kids were the same, you know. They each had their own job to do for him. You know, one's the money person, the other's the press person, and so forth. We all had our jobs to do. And you had to make sure that one job didn't go over the other one. So, and Sarah runs a busy paediatric practice, and this on top, and 2 small children as well. It nearly broke her, as far as I'm concerned. She's been fantastic, and Michael as well.
How are you?
I'm okay. We're both pretty sort of stoic people, aren't we? Don't agree too quickly.
Some of us are more stoic than others.
Yeah. But I didn't like a lot of things over. I mean, how would you feel, even if you had a younger husband, to see him in ankle shackles? Not nice. You know, you're speechless. You just can't imagine such a basic, terrible thing to happen to somebody, especially of his stature. I don't mean professional stature, but his stature is a small man with these huge manacles on his legs. Nuh-uh, it's not on, you know. And in any case, where's he going? They've got the passport, you know. So, yeah, but I hope it gets together again now, especially as you've got a new grandson. So he'll have somebody to push around.
I might have escaped and murdered somebody else, you know, so you've got to be careful.
How does he look? How does he? What's your reaction when you saw him?
I don't know. His eyes are still always the same. But this compulsive thing that he's doing now.
That's coming off.
Nerves.
Huh?
Heavy nerves.
Is it? I don't know. But this, it seems like, you know.
Well, I'm not used to this.
You know.
How long have you guys been married for?
Almost 40 years. Long time.
And you think he looks okay? He's in good shape?
Well, I wouldn't mind putting up with him for a few more years.
News that moves. eNCA.com.